Well, they had us in the first half, I'm not gonna lie. Toronto FC come back from an absolutely dreadful first half to beat Orlando City 2-0 in Orlando. I am very conflicted about this game because on the one hand, that second half was fantastic. They dominated the play, had the wide majority of the chances, scored some beautiful goals, and were by far the better team in the second half. In the first half, they were just terrible. It was a miracle that they got into halftime tied 0-0. And that team that showed up in the first half cannot show up regularly in MLS, or else this team will end up outside of the playoff spots. So, this game, in the first half, just Toronto FC as a whole was terrible. I thought, with the exceptions of Westberg and Mavinga, no one was playing well. The defense was terrible, completely unorganized. Orlando players were walking around multiple TFC defenders, walking past multiple TFC players to get crosses in. Toronto FC was just terrible on every aspect of defense. Mavinga was okay, he had some good tackles, he had a diving header to deflect a ball off the crossbar at one point. Westberg made a couple of good saves, but this game should not have been tied going into half. Toronto FC was miserable during the first half. The fact that this game was tied going to half was just a huge stroke of luck. This team did not deserve to be tied going into the half. They did not play like they wanted to be tied going into the half. This should have been Orlando's game after the first half. This season as a whole, throughout the first 8 games of this season, the defense has been nowhere near good enough in any game. They've been miserable in every single game, and tonight they got a clean sheet, and that's great, but their play on the field did not deserve a clean sheet at all. And what this team cannot do is look at the fact that they got the clean sheet result tonight and say the defense is fine, because the defense is not at all fine right now. And there are rumors going around that they're trying to sign Omar Gonzalez to shore up the back end, and they better be true. The transfer window closes on Tuesday. This team needs a couple of things, and right now it looks like the only thing that they are going to get is a defender, and if they don't get that, they're screwed. They're looking at Omar Gonzalez, who's 30. He has 49 caps for the U.S. men's national team, and has played the last 3 years in Liga MX for Pachua and Atlas. Now, Gonzalez, he's going to be a very good defender right now for Toronto FC if we do get him. I think he'll work wonders for this back end, but again, this is going to be another signing of a defender on the far side of 30. You're now going to have a defense core that consists of Drew Moore, Lawrence Simon, and Omar Gonzalez if we get Gonzalez, and that is just a very, very old back end, an aging back end. This team needs some sort of youth infusement into this back end. I don't know who's working up the ranks in the youth academy. They need someone to come out of the academy defensively within the next couple of years. The defense was terrible last season. It's been bad to start this season. I can't remember the last time that a defender came up through the TFC academy. I don't know if it's ever happened. Something needs to change with this club defensively. Just the mentality around the defense has to change, or else they're going to keep being dragged on by their offense, which has been spectacular to start the season, and that at least is what's holding us into the Eastern Conference title race, basically. But anyways, back to the game. The first half was terrible. That was a write-off. But somehow, we managed to scrape into the second half tied at 0-0. And in the second half, I don't know what Vanny said in the dressing room at halftime, but this was a completely different team that came in the second half. They were flying offensively, getting so many chances. They had control of the ball pretty much the entire time. Whenever they lost the ball, they got it back pretty much immediately. And then in the 65th minute, Jonathan Osorio on the left side of the box, just beautiful, takes a couple 2 touches around 2 defenders, and then shoots it far corner to score his 3rd goal of the season and put Toronto FC up 1-0. And after a slow start to the season, Osorio has really come on the past couple of games and just showing that last season was not a fluke. It was a showing of what is to come. He's scoring again at a fantastic rate to start the season, And just Jonathan Osorio is back, baby. After the Osorio goal, TFC gets a couple more chances, and in the 76th minute, Akinola gets sprung in on a breakaway. His shot saved, but the rebound goes back to Pozuelo, who crosses it in to Jay Chapman, who does a beautiful move to get his foot basically up near his chest area and pull the ball down from way too high up in the air, controls it, and then shoots it through the legs of Rowe to score to make it 2-0 TFC. Brian Rowe played a fantastic game. He was probably Orlando's best player in the second half. He was just fantastic, held his team in it. He made some fantastic saves. He had to make a lot of saves in the second half. And the fact that he didn't get any support from the Orlando City forwards going forward, even though they probably should have scored a couple times, is very disappointment. I thought Brian Rowe was just great all game. But TFC scores twice, goes up 2-0. Quentin Westberg has to make an incredible diving save a few minutes later, but keeps it at 2-0. And TFC closes out the game, gets the 2-0 victory, gets the 3 points on the road, which is oh so important, especially at the start of this 5 games in 15 days stretch. And they will head to Atlanta on Wednesday on a winning attitude. But yeah, in the end, I think this game perfectly sums up what Toronto FC is right now. Is there were 2 halves in the game, and we saw the 2 halves to TFC. In the first half, we saw the terrible defensive organization and the terrible defensive play of this team, and just how bad they've been defensively to start off this season and last season. And then in the second half, we saw the team that has started off the season leading MLS in goals. They've been fantastic offensively to start off this season. And this parody of fantastic offense but miserable defense has led to some very exciting games, but it is in no way a sustainable model of play. So this team needs to shore up defensively, or else this season's gonna fall off the cliff real fast. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you liked it, make sure to leave a like down below. If you want to see more TFC game reviews, make sure to hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time.